What's going on, 49er faithful? You are tuned in to the Wednesday afternoon edition of the show. I'm JD. Welcome aboard today's live stream here on the good old YouTube. And we are just a matter of days away. As it stands right here, right now, we are literally 1 week away from the 49ers' first official team practice of training camp. Yes, 1 week from today, being next Wednesday, July 23rd, the 49ers will be on the practice field. They will be preparing for the 2025 season right in front of our eyes in 7 days. But up until that point, there is still plenty to talk about regarding the 49ers that we will get into here certainly on today's program. I have a few topics I want to dive into. The latest on Alfred Collins, the latest on wide receiver Jauan Jennings and his contract stalemate with the organization. And I want to get into a little bit of a game, a little bit of stock market watch regarding the San Francisco 49ers. Which players should you be buying stock in this season? And which players should you be looking to sell the stock because you think it is a depreciating asset, it is going down in value, and you want to get off of a sinking ship? So we're going to get into the 49ers stock watch heading into the 2025 season. I'm going to give you my thoughts on players on both the offense and the defense of players that I am buying stock in and players that I'm trying to sell that stock. I'm looking at 2025 and beyond, thinking to myself, I need to get out from underneath this stock. So that'll be fun. We'll get to that in a little while. But first things first, let me say what's up to all the 49er fans that are in attendance right now in our live chat. If you're here, drop your ones. Let me see who's here, and let's get the roll call out of the way, and then we can go ahead and start today's show. I'm seeing a few people already. That's awesome. What's up to, let's see who we got. Let's see. What's up, Dave Corona, dropping his ones. What's up, David? Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Papa J dropping his ones in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. Tommy Huxley says, does camp mean s'mores? If by s'mores, do you mean like s'more football? Absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be s'more football. I think you can say that about camp. There's definitely going to be some more football. Let's see who else we got in the building today. If I missed anyone. Nope. I don't think I've missed anyone in the chat anyway. Did I get Tommy Huxley? I'm not sure if I got him or not. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in here today on the show. First things first, though, make sure you guys are following me on the new Twitter/X account at KTF49JD on X/Twitter. I'm trying to grow that, so follow me over there if you have not already. Let me go ahead and put that into the chat so you guys can see it on the screen and go follow me over on the good old Twitter. And yes, I guess I'm an old head. I still call it Twitter, but go follow me over there. And if you want some access to behind the scenes content, bonus videos, bonus content you won't get here on YouTube, if you want to be a part of an awesome 49er fan community, and if you want to win some free stuff, because we do monthly giveaways, check out our Patreon. The link is down below in the ticker and the description box. Patreon.com/keepingthefaith. Sign up and become a member today, and there will be many perks coming during the season. Things will get fun over there. I'm looking forward to it. I will be dropping a members-only Patreon-exclusive video this week over on the Patreon. And what are we at? The middle of July? So in another week or two, we will be doing our July monthly giveaway raffle. So if anyone wants to become a member, now is a good time, especially with the season right around the corner. But those are just some of the matters we had to get out of the way at the top of the program. So don't mind me. But let's get into the first little bit of 49er news of the day. And this comes courtesy of Matt Barrows of The Athletic. We discussed yesterday about the rookie class reporting down to Santa Clara for training camp. And some were wondering, is second round defensive tackle Alfred Collins actually in the building? Did he show up to Santa Clara on Tuesday with the rest of the rookies for rookie report day? My opinion, I figured he would have been there. I figured that, the details for the second round contracts are going to get hammered out sooner than later. I thought he would have at least shown up. I mean, he doesn't have to take the field, but I thought he would have at least shown up. But no. According to Matt Barrows, Alfred Collins has not reported yet. Like I mentioned yesterday, do I think it is the end of the world? Am I smashing the panic meter right now? Not yet. Let's get to the first practice on Wednesday, July 23rd, and then we can worry. But right here, right now, I'm still not worried. I still stand by my prediction that all the second round contracts, or at least the majority of them, will be handled by this coming weekend. And I think we'll see Alfred Collins on the practice field when the team takes to the field next Wednesday. But as it stands, and this may have changed today, but as of yesterday on rookie report day, Alfred Collins had not shown up to Santa Clara quite yet. So that is at least noteworthy, and I wanted to mention it. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, we are going to get into my 49ers stock watch. Who should I buy stock in this year if I'm a 49er fan? Whose stock should I be looking to sell, right? We'll get into that a little bit later, but I do want to update you guys regarding the latest involving 49ers wide receiver Jauan Jennings, who we all know is unhappy with his contract and has made it public that he wants the 49ers to pay him or trade him. He is in the last year of his 2-year extension that he signed last offseason, and he wants a new deal or for the 49ers to trade him. His agent, Drew Rosenhaus, is letting it be known, and Drew Rosenhaus is no stranger to difficult public negotiations. He is very, very well-versed in those things. But there's a little bit of news with Jauan Jennings over the last 24 hours or so, being that courtesy of Adam Schefter, NFL insider Adam Schefter of ESPN, who appeared on ESPN TV, I believe it was late yesterday, had something interesting to say about Jauan Jennings, and I will share that with you guys here on the screen. Jauan Jennings, and this is courtesy of Coach Yak over on Twitter, who put this up, so shout out Coach Yak. But Adam Schefter said, several teams have already inquired about Jauan Jennings' availability, but the 49ers said they have no desire in trading the wide receiver. So that is the latest that we have as it comes down to 49ers wideout Jauan Jennings. Teams are poking around. The Pittsburgh Steelers are one of those teams reportedly poking around on Jauan Jennings. No big surprise there if you're a 49er fan and you've paid attention to the wide receiver trade wins that have gone around the last couple of years. But teams are poking around with Jauan Jennings. And the 49ers are telling those teams, we're not trading him. So that only leaves two options. That means that the 49ers are going to cave and cater to Jauan Jennings' demands of a brand new contract extension, or they're going to tell Jauan, hey, them's the breaks. Sorry, man, you got to play. You're under contract. You're playing this year. And Jauan Jennings is 28 years old. He's trying to get the bag. I understand the entire situation. We laid it out there yesterday, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. But Jauan Jennings is in a position where he doesn't have the leverage to me to sit out for the year and then come back next year at age 29 and try and get a bag from another team. I don't see it. And if he sits out this year, he's not going to get an accrued season unless he shows up by week 10, I believe it is. So either Jauan Jennings plays this year, at least in some capacity, or the 49ers extend him and all is forgiven and all is well, and the vibes are back to being immaculate heading into training camp. So, um, my personal opinion, I think this entire situation gets resolved by the time the 49ers put on the pads for the first time in training camp. And the 49ers will have likely 4 practices before they put on the pads. That's typically how they do things. And I can see the 49ers having their first 4 practices being non padded July 23rd, July 24th. I believe it's July 25th and July 27th, which is a Sunday. And then I believe Monday, July 28th will be the 49ers' first padded practice, if I had to guess. And my personal take on that entire situation is that by that first padded practice, Jauan Jennings will have a new contract and will be locked up with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, it remains to be seen what that contract will look like. If it is in the neighborhood of $15 to $17 million, as the rumors are suggesting Jauan is looking for, then that'll be a whole different can of worms that we will get to when we get there. But I'm going to reserve, I guess, judgment on the contract until we see actually how much they're paying him, if they decide to pay him. But I am of the opinion that they will end up paying Jauan Jennings. They are telling teams they are not going to trade him. So, it kind of tells you right there. I think the 49ers want to work out a long-term deal with Jauan Jennings. And according to Adam Schefter, teams have been, trying to assess his availability, and the 49ers are rejecting everyone. So I think it's sooner than later that Jauan Jennings puts pen to paper and signs a new contract, because I can't see the 49ers allowing Jauan to pull his greatest Brandon Ayuk impression and being present on the sidelines in practice every single day and having every media member, every fan in attendance be on Jauan watch, where they're looking for Jauan Jennings at every turn. Where is he standing today? Is he wearing 49ers attire today? Oh, he had a football in his hands today and he was throwing it with the trainer. All the stuff we went through last year with Brandon Ayuk. I can't see the 49ers allowing it to get to that point for very long, if at all. And so I think that sooner than later, we will hear the news that the 49ers have extended Jauan Jennings. Now, how I feel about that will depend on what the contract ultimately looks like. But as it stands right now, it sounds to me, at least, like the 49ers plan on paying Jauan Jennings a contract extension and making this whole thing go away. Now, hopefully they do it before Veterans Report on July 22nd, but presumably, at least, how I see this kind of playing out, I think they're going to wait for Veterans to report. They want Jauan in the building. A lot of these things happen in person, and I think then, he may miss a couple practices as this gets worked out. But then I think by the time the 49ers put on the pads for the first time, and in my opinion, I believe that will be Monday, July 28th, based on the history of how practices tend to go down there, I think Jauan will have a new contract, and I think we'll be able to put this behind us. So we'll see. We will see. But that was just a little bit of news courtesy of ESPN's Adam Schefter that was put out by Coach Yak that I saw and I wanted to share with you guys. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat before we move ahead today. Tommy Huxley says JJ ain't worth more than 11 a year, if that. I'm with you. I mean, even 10 a year, like we went through this yesterday, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse and go down that road again. But even $10 million a year for a guy who, 6 months from now could end up being the 49ers number 3 wide receiver all over again. I'm not really happy about paying a number 3 wide receiver double-digit money in the millions of dollars for a guy who's going to be the number 3 receiver, number 4 option on the offense in the passing game, in an offense that doesn't throw the ball that much. That's just me. I don't want to see the 49ers overpay for a 28-year-old possession receiver. I really don't. Who's never been over 1,000 yards and is on an offense that does not feature the wide receiver that much. I don't want to see the 49ers overpay. I definitely don't. But I will reserve judgment until we see whatever the contract looks like or whatever happens. Papa J says, teams are poking around because teams see his potential, that he has been held back by the Avengers. Possibly. Papa J says, what is your contract prediction? If I had to predict anything, and I mentioned this yesterday, that Jauan's going to be looking for his bag. He's going to be looking for his big payday because he is 28 years old. He has the most leverage that he will ever have in his entire career right now in this moment. And he's going to be wanting a little bit more long-term security. So I could see it being a 3-year deal. Some people have speculated that it could be around like $36 million, which I think is what Rashad Bateman got with the Baltimore Ravens. Some people are projecting it could be around $45 million, which would be $15 million a season over 3 years. So it'll probably be somewhere within the 12 to 15 range. And anything over 10 to me is an overpay. So it's going to be an overpay, in my opinion, no matter what. But if I had to guess, like, just gun to my head, put a figure out there, I'd say probably 3 years, like 3 years, 42, 45 million, somewhere in there. Maybe 28 guaranteed, something like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But we'll see. Tommy Huxley says the league doesn't value JJ like we do. I might disagree with that, considering Adam Schefter is putting out reports that teams are sniffing around. I mean, teams are wanting to trade for him. And trading for him means giving up assets and giving him a contract. So teams are, assuming Adam Schefter isn't, full of it, teams value JJ. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I think they get a deal done. That's just kind of how this is shaping up to me. Mr. Laidback says, what's going on, big dog? What up, Mr. Laidback? Thank you for tuning in today, my friend. Good to see you. Salvador in the chat. What's up, Salvador? I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, or at least recently. Shout out to you for tuning in. Thanks so much. Filthy Casual in the building says 49ers have told those teams that they are not trading him. Absolutely. We mentioned that. The Niners are not looking to trade Jauan Jennings. They are rebuking all of the trade offers that they are receiving and all the interest that they are garnering for the 28-year-old veteran wide receiver, Jauan Jennings. Tommy Huxley again, we won't take less than a third, and nobody's offering that. I mean, there's no way in hell the 49ers get a third-round pick for Jauan Jennings. Like, if they're lucky, they would get a fifth. Based on the deals around the league, they would be lucky if they got a fifth-round pick for Jauan. I think it would be like a sixth-round pick swap. I think that's the kind of, trade compensation you would get for Jauan Jennings. I really do. David Culper in the building. What's up, David? He says, JJ is not going anywhere. It kind of sounds that way because Adam Schefter is saying the Niners aren't budging. They don't want to trade him. And like I mentioned, I believe that by the time the 49ers put on the pads for the first time, I think Jauan Jennings will be signed, sealed, and delivered. And I think he'll be out there with his teammates for that first padded practice, which presumably will be by around Monday, July 28th, but we will see. Papa J says, JD, with all due respect, I disagree on the pay. I think he's worth 4 years, $80 million, 65 guaranteed. JJ is undervalued. You realize that's like $20 million a year, right? I hope you're joking because I know you like to joke and make sarcastic comments in the chat, so I can't take you serious or not. But 4 years, $80 million, $20 million a year for a 28-year-old wide receiver who's never surpassed 1,000 yards. You're lucky that marijuana is legal in California, my friend, because whatever you're smoking is good. Whatever you're smoking is good, man. I can't know. There's absolutely no way in hell that the 49ers or any team should pay Jauan Jennings $20 million a season. Absolutely under no circumstances. A GM would get fired if they give up draft capital for Jauan Jennings and then turn around and sign him to a $20 million a year contract. There's no way. Absolutely no way. I can't see that at all. Tommy Huxley says, If I was the Niners, I would not allow a hold in. You want to hold out, it's going to cost you $50K a day. I mean, teams can threaten the fines for missing days of training camp, and he will accrue said fines each day that he misses. But we know how these things work with the 49ers. They want to massage it over. They want to, clear up any drama, get rid of any friction between the player and the organization. As soon as he signs the contract, they will either add that money that they've taken away from him to the back end of that deal to give the money back to him, or they just won't fine him at all. They'll just sweep it under the rug. I mean, they're not going to actually fine Jauan Jennings and take money from him. It's not going to happen. That doesn't happen anymore, really, in the NFL very often, especially not with the 49ers. So I can't see that. But, yeah, that was just the latest with Jauan Jennings. Adam Schefter, ESPN, saying that the Niners are shooting down all, trade requests or availability requests by other teams. And so we'll see how it goes. But it sounds to me like the Niners are going to end up getting a deal done with Jauan because they don't want to trade him. They know how important he is. We've talked about it here on this channel. We know how important he is. The 49ers know how important he is. And Jauan Jennings knows how important he is to this team. That's why he's doing all this. But it sounds like they're gonna figure something out. I'm not too worried just yet. I just hope it does not bleed into training camp. I don't want to hear about him standing on the sidelines. I'm so fatigued and tired of the training camp drama. I'm over it. Let's just talk about football. I want to talk about, who's doing what, who's looking good, which second-year player is emerging, which rookie standing out, how's Trent Williams look, how's Brock Purdy slinging it, even if we have to go with like camp stats with the quarterback, which I cannot stand, and I think it is the most overrated stat in all of like football coverage is the training camp passing stats because they mean nothing. I would rather hear that stuff nonstop every day than hear about Jauan Jennings walking up and down the sideline. So hopefully they get it worked out. That's just what I'm hoping. That's what I am hoping for. I don't know about you. Filthy Casual says, don't want to talk about which rookie is holding out. You must have missed the very top of the program, my friend. I hit on Alfred Collins and all the other second-round picks across the NFL, still not budging from their request of getting guaranteed money with their second-round contracts. Alfred Collins did not report to Santa Clara yesterday with the rest of the rookies. We did mention that at the top of the show. You must have missed it, but that's okay. So we'll see, though. We'll see what happens. Like I mentioned before, my timeline, I think all those second-round contracts get resolved by this weekend because it is so important for rookies to get into camp on time and not have any hiccups and setbacks. Like, I can't see the NFL allowing this to happen. Like, I think all the rookies will be there next week for sure. Filthy Casual says that was a joke. Okay, gotcha. There's no sarcasm font in the YouTube chat, so it's hard to tell sometimes. Let's see. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into the main topic of today's program. I want to get into a little bit of 49ers stock watch. I dabble in the stock market. I'm not like an expert. I don't have a ton of money in the stock market, but I dabble a little bit. And I understand that with the stock market, you want to invest in something that you can buy low and let it play out over time and eventually sell high, right? But you want to buy low, invest, a small amount to earn a big amount. And you want to get something that you can see increasing in value over time, right? So whether we're talking about the 2025 season as a whole or, the next couple seasons, I had some thoughts. I was thinking about it, like which 49er players am I buying stock in heading into the 2025 season on offense and defense? And which 49ers players am I just looking to sell? I'm trying to get off the boat. I'm trying to sell. I'm trying to get out from under it. I don't want nothing to do with it. I need to get out now before, that stock crashes. So I put some names down of players on offense and defense. I have one player on offense and one player on defense. Well, let me rephrase that. I have players that I want to buy on offense, players that I want to sell on offense, players that I want to buy on defense and sell on defense, one of each on both sides of the ball. And let's start with the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to start with the defense for this little exercise. As we're talking about buying, which 49ers defensive player do I want to buy stock in entering this 2025 season? And for me, I mean, yeah, they have a lot of rookies. You can refer to Mykel Williams and Alfred Collins and CJ West, Marquise Siegel, Nick Martin, a lot of the young guys, right? Even like second-year players, Malik Mustafa, Renardo Green, the rookie nickel defensive back Upton Stout. Maybe you want to buy stock in Diamador Lenore, right? But for me, for this year, in terms of like value of where you can probably, get this player and what you think he's going to do, buy low, sell high sort of situation, buy low, get good value. I think I would buy stock in Bryce Huff this year. I have big expectations on defensive end Bryce Huff, who was brought in free agency or from the Philadelphia Eagles and formerly of the New York Jets, and was coached by 49ers current defensive coordinator Robert Saleh during his time with the New York Jets. In 2023, Huff had registered 10 sacks while being coached with Robert Saleh, and now he reunites with his former defensive coordinator, and he is in the same scheme, same defense, same terminology. And I am buying stock in Bryce Huff this year. I think he is going to come in, and Kyle Shanahan said it himself. Bryce Huff has the best get off of any defensive end opposite Nick Bosa that this team has had since Dee Ford. And I think Bryce Huff will be exactly what the 49ers have been looking for since Dee Ford departed. And I am high on Bryce Huff this year. I'm not sure if he's going to be, double-digit sacks, but he's going to be flirting with it. He's going to be right around there. Maybe he gets 10. He's going to contribute in a big way this year, even as only a situational pass rusher. I am buying stock in Bryce Huff. His value is low right now. He had a bad year in his one season in Philadelphia, and he's coming here to resurrect his career, and he wants to come in and make an impact and, make himself some money moving forward. He needs to rehab his image within, the league and within, the 49ers. He needs to put some good tape out there for himself and for this team. And I think Bryce Huff is in a position to really make some money for himself this year. And I would buy stock in Bryce Huff. I absolutely would. Now, if we're referring to selling stock, which 49ers player am I trying to get out and get away from? Which 49ers player am I selling their stock? And I thought about this one for a little bit. It kind of had me a little stumped for a minute, but then it hit me. And this guy is more than likely going to start for the 49ers week 1 when they're up in Seattle. But the player whose stock I would be looking to sell heading into this season is linebacker D. Winters. I think he's going to start this year. I really do. He's the veteran. He's been here. He knows the defense. He knows the expectations. He knows the teammates and the verbiage, and he knows what the 49ers expect, right? So he has a leg up on rookie Nick Martin. He has a leg up on rookie Stone Blanton. He has a leg up on Luke Gifford and Chad Surratt. He has a leg up on all these guys because he's been here. So I fully expect the Winners to start the season. But given the fact they've brought in so many guys to compete, they drafted Nick Martin in the 3rd round. Not to mention, last year they had every opportunity to start D. Winters, but they kept trotting Devondre Campbell out there. I think it tells you what the 49ers think of D. Winters. They wanted to give him that starting job. Like, it was his for the taking, and he just didn't take it. And then you come into this offseason and they draft Nick Martin. They bring in Luke Gifford. They bring in Chaz Surratt. They bring in Stone Blanton. They're trying to find something opposite Fred Warner, and they don't think it's D Winters. Their moves are telling me what they're thinking about D Winters. And even though he may start the season right next to Fred Warner on this defense, I am selling my stock in D Winters because I think the writing is on the wall. I think at some point in this year, you will see Nick Martin starting next to Fred Warner. And I think you're going to see D Winters moving on after this season. I'm not sure if you guys agree with me or not, but when it hit me, I said, yep, look at what the 49ers are doing. All their moves, all their actions are telling you they're selling their D Winters stock. They have stock in a bunch of other guys. They have stock in a bunch of other assets. They're trying to get out from under their D Winters stock down there in Santa Clara. Tommy Huxley says, D Winters, I'm high on this season. Okay, maybe you're right. But I feel like the 49ers are kind of telling you. They're kind of telling you how they feel with their actions. David Coper says, I think, wrong one. I hit the wrong one. Papa J, I would sell Bethune before Winters. You know, I've heard nothing but good things about Tatum Bethune throughout the offseason. And so we'll see. Maybe he gets a crack to play at some point. It's going to be an interesting position battle at linebacker during preseason. Very curious to see who flashes there. But I think D Winters, even though he may start the year, I don't think he's going to end the year as the starter. I think the Niners will have somebody else out there, and I think their actions are telling you that's what they want as far as that spot goes on the defense. Papa J says, I see D Winters as a Will and Nick Martin as a Sam. Okay, I see you. We'll see, though. But you got to remember, D Winters isn't Robert Saleh's guy. D Winters was not drafted by Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh drafted D Winters to be the next, Dre Greenlaw, to be the next, Robin to Fred Warner's Batman. Nick Martin is Robert Saleh's hand-picked apprentice at linebacker. It's not D Winters. So I feel like at some point this year, you're going to see D Winters relegated to the bench. Not to mention he's had a hard time staying healthy. So injuries may do the job for them and relegate him to the bench. But I'm selling my D Winters stock. That's how I feel about it. Tommy Huxley says, Winters takes weird angles sometimes. He does. He's a bit of a frustrating player. He has great speed and hitting ability. He does some good things out there. But I just feel like he's not Saleh's guy, and Nick Martin is. And you're going to see that come to fruition at some point this year. I do. But if we're talking about which, you know what? Never mind. I already hit on that. I hit on who I would buy on defense, whose stock I would buy, and that was Bryce Huff. Let's transition to the offensive side of the ball. Whose stock am I buying? Whose stock am I selling? And I want to hear from you guys in the chat. So if you have anybody on defense whose stock you're buying or selling, let me know. I'm curious. It doesn't have to be reacting to what I say. I want to know your thoughts as well. Whose stock are you buying and selling in the chat? Also, if you're watching the replay, drop your comments down below. Let me know whose stock on defense and offense you're buying and selling this year. Who are you high on? Who do you think is going to make an impact this year? And who do you think is going to be tanking their value? That's what the stock market is all about. The ups and the downs. And it's kind of similar to football in a way. But as far as the offensive side of the ball goes, let's go with the sell first. Whose stock? And you know what? No. I'm going to save that one for last because I think you guys are you guys might get mad at me. You guys might get mad at me if I told you whose stock I'm selling on offense. But I'm going to start with whose stock I'm buying. And if you've been watching this channel for any length of time this offseason, I think some of you in the chat will be able to guess it before I even say it out loud. But whose stock am I buying on offense heading into the 2025 season? none other than second year wide receiver, former first rounder Ricky Pearsall. I've told you guys again and again, and I will keep telling you until I am blue in the face. Ricky Pearsall is going to have a breakout season. He is the 49ers breakout player this year. The last 2 games of the year, 14 receptions, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns. What he showed me late in the year and in spurts during the season last year was so encouraging. And he's built up such a good rapport in short time with quarterback Brock Purdy. I fully expect Ricky Pearsall to bust onto the scene this year in a big way. His ability to run routes, separate, and he's got good hands and athleticism, and he's got more speed than you think. And I'm big on Ricky Pearsall this year. I am all the way in buying Ricky Pearsall stock. Big time. Big time. Ricky Pearsall is going to go over 1,000 yards this year, in my opinion. I'm big on Pearsall. If you guys have been watching, you know this. I am buying Ricky Pearsall stock like I'm buying Bitcoin, back in 2011. I'm all over it. I'm all over it, and it's going to pay off. I'm telling you. I am buying Ricky Pearsall stock. Let's see what you guys are saying before we move on, because I want to see what your thoughts are. Tommy Huxley says, he better be, or Slick Rick is a bust. Papa J says, Pearsall is going to kick some ass. I'm with you. I'm telling you. Papa J says, I'm buying Pinnock stock. Okay, that's not a bad one. I see where you're coming from. The Pinnock hype train is going crazy on defense as of late. A lot of people may be buying stock in Jason Pinnock. The beat writers like Matt Mayoko are putting it out there, and you're hearing all the fluff pieces about Jason Pinnock, and so that might not be a bad player to buy some stock in. Buy low in terms of value with Jason Pinnock. I can see it. Papa J says the only thing is that his downfall is that he may be too small and soft to be a great blocking receiver. That's possible. But he is the route runner that Kyle Shanahan has always coveted. Ricky Pearsall is Dante Pettis, but actually good at football. He is exactly what Kyle Shanahan envisioned when he drafted Dante Pettis. But Ricky Pearsall is actually good at football and actually likes contact and is going to be a playmaker, unlike Dante Pettis. He separates. He runs very crisp routes. His footwork is impeccable, and he separates in a big way. Has great hands. Makes good contested catches. Athletic as hell, and he's a dog, man. He's tough. He is tougher than you think. We'll have to see if he can improve as a blocker. And I'm sure, if you're playing in a Kyle Shanahan offense, you're going to be asked to block, and it's going to be demanded of you to block well in the run game as a wide receiver. So he'll get better. And he's got guys like Jauan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk to learn from. So I'm not worried about that area of his game just yet. I think he'll improve as he goes on. But I'm absolutely buying stock in Ricky Pearsall this year. Big time. Tommy Huxley says, I'm worried about Rick staying healthy. We all are. That's the big question mark about Ricky Pearsall. But by all accounts, he will be ready to go when the veterans report next week down in Santa Clara. And he stayed healthy during the year last season when he played. So I think it's just getting into the regular season and then managing his practice reps during the year if he's a little banged up and whatnot. But I'm big on Ricky Pearsall this year. I am buying Ricky Pearsall stock in a big way. I saw one comment that I want to mention before I move on. Papa J says, you are not selling Brock stock. Papa J thinks I'm selling Brock Purdy stock. I think I scared him a little bit because I told you guys that the offensive player whose stock I'm selling might make you guys a little bit mad. It's not Brock Purdy. I'm not selling Brock stock. No, I think Brock has a bounce back year and plays well. I'm holding firm on my Brock stock. I'm not selling. I'm not selling Brock Purdy stock. Not yet. Well, maybe that changes, but right now I'm okay. I'm good right where I'm at with the stock I'm holding in number 13. So no, I'm not selling Brock Purdy stock. Papa J says you did scare me. Yeah, I'm not selling Purdy stock. Don't worry. But let me get to that. Nope. You know what? I see a comment that I'm going to read first. Make you wait a little bit longer. Bay Area Oasis fan. He says, we need to resign Jauan, man. Otherwise, we have no real threat at wide receiver. Cornerbacks and safeties are going to eat our lunch. I respectfully disagree that we don't have any other threats. I'm big on Pearsall. I think Demarcus Robinson is going to play a big role for this team once he is on the field. And I like Jordan Watkins. I like Jacob Cowing. And, of course, Brandon Ayuk figures to return sooner than later. I'm not necessarily worried about the wide receiver position, even if they were to get rid of Jauan Jennings. But speaking of Jauan Jennings, and I'm referring to the 49ers stock watch. I told you whose stock I'm buying and selling on defense. I just told you I'm buying a ton of Ricky Pearsall stock on offense. But as far as whose stock I'm selling, yeah, it's Jauan Jennings. I am selling Jauan Jennings stock, even if he signs a new contract, even if he's out there week 1. I am selling my Jauan Jennings stock. And I laid it out there for you guys yesterday. If you saw the stream yesterday, you'll understand my reasoning. Jauan Jennings is 28 years old. He's never passed 1,000 yards in his career. He was the number 1 wide receiver last year, getting force-fed targets, and still did not surpass 1,000 yards. And now he's coming in to the offense this year with Ricky Pearsall, who will be a factor all season long from the get-go. You're going to have Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowing looking to make an impact. Demarcus Robinson will be taking targets. Brandon Ayuk is making a ton of money and will be on the field when he's healthy. Not to mention Christian McCaffrey is back healthy and will take his share of receptions out of the backfield for the 49ers. Jauan Jennings is not going to touch the numbers that he did last year. Early in the year, is Jauan Jennings going to look good and have people foolishly buying Jauan Jennings stock? Probably. Early in the year, he's probably going to get a lot of targets. He's probably going to look good and put up some numbers early in the season. But at some point, when Brandon Ayuk is healthy, when Demarcus Robinson returns from the presumed suspension that he will be receiving, when Christian McCaffrey gets rolling, when George Kittle is the premier weapon on the offense this year that everyone thinks he's going to be, more featured this year than ever, tight end George Kittle. Jauan Jennings is going to see less targets. He's going to see less looks his way. He's going to be kind of back in that role of being the guy who blocks and does the dirty work. I'm not saying he's going to suck. I'm not saying he's going to be like horrible and back to number 3 status, anything like that. All I'm saying is I'm selling Jauan Jennings stock. I don't expect him to replicate what he did last year, and I don't think the 49ers think he's going to do that either. Even if they sign him, I think that I'm selling Jauan stock. That's as simple as I can put it. I think there's a lot of mouths to feed on this team. Last year, there were a ton of injuries. He was given every opportunity because of the absence of so many players. And that's why he was able to put up the solid numbers that he did. Not great, not bad, not great, but solid, respectable numbers that he did. I don't expect him to replicate that this year. So I'm selling my Jauan Jennings stock, and I'm sure that might piss a lot of you guys off, but that's just how I feel about it. Bay Area Oasis fan says, without Jauan, teams are going to be able to effectively shut down Pearsall because we don't have a true number 2 receiver right now. I mean, early in the year, yeah, I don't disagree with you there. Early in the year, if they were to lose Jauan Jennings early in the year, it would be a struggle because you're going to be asking Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowing to do a lot more. You'll probably be asking Brandon Ayuk to return from injury faster than you want to. Junior Bergen is probably going to be the 49ers' 6th receiver this year because he figures to make the team as a returner. That's why they drafted him in the 7th round. And so even he could see some playing time if they were to move on from Jauan Jennings. But I don't suspect that that's going to happen. I think Jauan's going to get his contract, like I mentioned at the top of the program. So I don't think we have to worry about that necessarily. But either way, I'm still selling my Jauan Jennings stock because I think by the end of the year, as all this shakes out, he is going to be targeted less than he was a year ago. He is not going to put up the same numbers that he did last season. I just don't see it. Unless the entire team implodes like they did last year with injuries and Jauan miraculously stays healthy again. And you know, that I could see it then. But if this team stays moderately healthy on offense with its skill players, especially given, you know, guys like McCaffrey and Kittle, I don't see Jauan replicating what he did in 2024. I don't. Papa J saying like and subscribe. Shout out, Papa J. Thank you, my friend. Papa J saying Pearsall equals John Taylor. I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. I think Pearsall is a better downfield player than John Taylor in terms of just skill set. I'm not saying he's better than John Taylor or anything like that. I always kind of liken Debo to John Taylor. Debo reminded me a lot of John Taylor. But yeah, so that is my 49ers stock watch heading into 2025. I am buying Bryce Huff stock on defense while I am selling my D Winner stock. Offensively, I am all in, putting all my money on the Ricky Pearsall stock while I'm trying to get out from under my Jauan Jennings stock because I think it's going to lose a little value this year, even though the cost of the stock is going to go up when they give him that new contract that's coming. But I think the return on the investment is going to go down. The value of that stock is going to go down based on all the reasons I just mentioned. So I thought that was fun. That was a topic I've been wanting to get into here as we head into training camp next week. And I will have a full training camp preview likely on Monday with the veterans reporting the following day on Tuesday, July 22nd. We have a couple more fun topics coming this week here on the channel, Thursday and Friday, right here, same time, same place, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, right here on Keeping the Faith. And again, make sure you guys check out the Patreon. I'll be posting a members-only exclusive 49er-related Patreon video this week over there. We will be doing another monthly giveaway raffle in the coming weeks over on the Patreon. And it's only going to get better as we get going into the regular season. So if you like the content, if you enjoy what we do here and you want to help support, you want to show some love, check out the Patreon. All the details are down below in the ticker and the description box. Patreon.com/keepingthefaith. But I hope you guys have fun today. I had a fun one. It was a good stream today. I had a little bit of stock talk, you know, for those of you in the stock market. I dabble, like I mentioned, I dabble a little bit. I'm no expert. I'm not rich by any means. I'm not even saying I'm good at the stock market. I just dabble in it a little bit. It's fun. It's you know, it's kind of a form of gambling, basically. You know, it's legalized gambling, I guess you can call it. But we also hit on Alfred Collins, not yet reporting to 49ers camp down there in Santa Clara with the rest of his rookie class. But I think that'll get taken care of sooner than later, as I mentioned early in the show. And then we did hit on the latest surrounding Jauan Jennings, courtesy of Adam Schefter, saying that teams have been poking around, trying to inquire about the availability of the 49ers 28-year-old wide receiver, with the 49ers telling all interested teams they are not looking to trade him. So that tells me that they're going to get a deal done. And I feel like the logical date in terms of a timeline is right before the team puts on the pads for the first padded practice. And by my count, that'll probably be around Monday, July the 28th is my guess. And maybe we see Jauan Jennings in street clothes the first couple days of camp. It creates a little bit more pressure, but he's on hand. He's in person. He's in meetings. He's there as he and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, iron out the deals on what will probably be a brand new contract here shortly. That's just my opinion. But if that changes, if that's not the case, we will definitely talk about it as it comes. But that's just my educated guess from being a guy who's watched the 49ers for over 30 years and is no stranger to this stuff. So we will see. We will see. Tommy Huxley says one is SP 500, other in NASDAQ. Papa J says, I remember that when we drafted Crabtree, all Niner fans celebrated like it was 1999. You are not kidding, Papa J, because I was there in Santa Clara at the Santa Clara Convention Center at the 49ers official draft party when they drafted Michael Crabtree. And this is before Levi Stadium was ever built. All they had was the team headquarters at the time right next door. And yeah, Niner fans went nuts. I went crazy. That was one hell of a draft party. I remember it like it was yesterday. There's actually video out there of me at that draft party. It's floating out there somewhere. Not on my channel, but it's out there. Yeah, that was a crazy draft for sure. Tommy Huxley says, I have 2 mutual funds in tech. Okay. So Tommy Huxley is no stranger to the stock market. I got you. Well, I hope you guys had a good time today. I think we're going to go ahead and call it right here. I thought it was a good stream. I will be back here tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, and that goes for every day, Monday through Friday, from now until the end of the season, unless otherwise noted. And make sure you have your notifications on because I will be putting out videos. I will be having other live streams aside from these scheduled ones every Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. So make sure you like the video. Helps the algorithm, helps me pump out the content to the masses, to the rest of the 49er faithful. And make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have your notifications on so you don't miss anything, all that stuff. But I will be back tomorrow with another 49er live stream. Let's hope that there's no more drama between now and then. I'm hoping that things can just calm down a little bit as we enter camp. So it will be all about business, all about football next week. I can't wait. I'm hyped up. Football's back, guys. Football's here. So I hope you're ready. I know I am.